Gregor.
Thanks. On the issue of currency, Mr. Zulug, on the issue of whether an independent Scotland would be compelled to join the Eurozone, I wonder if you could say something about Sweden's relationship with the Euro and whether you think this semi-detached relationship might be available for Scotland.
I think that it's very clear that in the current framework of the European Union, no country can be forced into the Eurozone. I also find it very difficult to see how that would be in the interest of the Eurozone or of the member states dragging a reluctant country into the Eurozone. I find it very difficult to envisage. The reality is that while I think there is an obligation to accept that there's a commitment eventually to join economic and monetary union, in practical terms, you can stay outside. And Sweden has shown that for a long time. There is no time frame attached to this. By not joining the exchange rate mechanism, which is one of the preconditions for Euro membership, a country can choose to stay outside the Euro effectively, indefinitely.
Well, I accept what you're saying, but Sweden, the reason Sweden is able to do that is that she contends that since joining the ERM is voluntary, it cannot be compelled to join the ERM, and therefore it doesn't need to join the Euro. And this position is tolerated by the European Central Bank at the moment, although it's been made clear that such an option will not be permitted for new EU members. So if Scotland is a new EU member, how could she be in the same position as Sweden?
I think there's a big difference between having an explicit opt-out and having this implicit opt-out which Sweden is practicing. What a new member is very unlikely to get, in my view, is an explicit opt-out, the kind of arrangement we have at the moment for Denmark or for the UK, that it says in law that a country has the choice of joining or not. But the reality is there is nothing in the legal framework of the European Union which can force a country to join the exchange rate mechanism. So while there might be pressure on a country to eventually join the exchange rate mechanism, this is a condition which cannot be enforced by law. And in the end, the logic of the euro says very clearly you have to fulfill the conditions for euro membership. This is not just a one-way street. Even countries which might want to join the euro might not fulfill the conditions for it. And we have seen that repeatedly in recent years where countries had to queue up until they have fulfilled the conditions. So in the end, there is the possibility of staying outside like Sweden has done. There might be political pressure on a country which chooses to do that, but in the end, there is no legal mechanism which could force a country into the exchange rate mechanisms and thus into the euro.
Well,